Buddy, welcome back to another episode of Bitcoin Traders Collective. And today we are going to continue our altcoin exploration and look at Chainlink, aka Link. And Link has very much been the king of altcoins for a couple of years now. One of the best performers. If you don't know about Chainlink, Link is an Oracle platform, and what that means is that the protocol provides data from the external world to blockchains and smart contracts. So things like prices, any kind of data on any sort of financial instrument that needs to be part of a blockchain or a smart contract, that comes through oracles provided by Chainlink. And the Oracle narrative has been a big one in crypto lately, the last year. And if you're new to crypto, you're going to learn quickly that narratives very much drive the space. So another narrative this past 6 months, 8 months has been DeFi, aka decentralized finance. And DeFi platforms have exploded on top of Ethereum, protocols being built on top of Ethereum that are providing financial instruments for lending and borrowing, decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, where we no longer have to depend on centralized institutions like Kraken or Gemini or Coinbase. And this is really the wave of the future. The original DeFi is Bitcoin itself, decentralized finance. So Chainlink plays a pretty big role in this, and that's one of the reasons that it's been on such a tear. However, it's really been performing incredibly in the entire Bitcoin bear market for the last couple of years. And if you look back here, we're looking at the Bitcoin chart. I mean, we started having pretty big moves against Bitcoin early on in 2018. So if you watched the video on Tezos, we're going to kind of take a similar look at some past price action. If you had bought down here an accumulation back in July of 18 or sometime in that zone, you were paying less than 3,000 sats for one Chainlink, and you had a chance to hold it for a while for about a 5x move there. Could have transformed one Bitcoin into 4 or 5 Bitcoins. Another opportunity here in 2019, big parabolic move against Bitcoin for over 6x. Returns, major pullback, end of 2019, had another opportunity here. Smaller move, you could have just held it, you could say maybe until here. So that was almost another 4x. And if you had bought the dip on that, then you could have caught this last move that ended in August for about another 5x. So as you can see, I mean, obviously you could have just bought Chainlink early and held it the entire time until now. And actually, if you'd done that, you're still looking at 5,000% returns against Bitcoin. So a 5,000% return is over a 50x against BTC. So yet another example of what is possible with these altcoin projects when you get in at the right time. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get in on the ground floor early. Obviously, that's the most ideal. But if you can catch them on these key pullbacks and retracements, and it's a trending market, there's still a lot of opportunity. So let's get all of this off of here and assess the current situation. So we can look at these pullbacks. Let's start with this one since it was the first major one. Actually, we'll go here. So we had a pullback here, basically a dip of over 50% on that move. Here we had a dip of almost 75%. And we'll just fast forward to the current situation. And we have got a dip on the Chainlink BTC pairing of over 50%, 57%. So, according to past history, this is a potentially fantastic time to be buying a dip on Chainlink, especially before Bitcoin is breaking above 20K and a new parabolic alt season begins. Now, does that mean we're not going to have any further downside? No, it doesn't. So, oftentimes when we break above previous all-time highs and go parabolic, like this last impulse wave, then oftentimes we'll come back and we'll retest the breakout. So if that were to happen, we had this breakout level here. If the retracement's not over and we did come all the way back down to this breakout level for the past move, then we could still have another 20% drop or so. So, one option is to average in. Maybe you go in with half of your position now, see what happens, see if it goes lower. You can add to it later. If it doesn't go lower and you kind of nailed the bottom, then you could add to your position with some dips along the way up. Or if you wanted to make it simple, you just go in now. And I do like to advocate going in portions and to slowly build a position. And that way you can kind of dollar cost average, 2, 3, 4 portions along the way. It really just depends on how much time you have and how much you can look at these charts and keep your eye on the markets. So that's Chainlink, and this is really a trending market and one of my favorite picks for the next big altcoin season. I will say that as strong as Chainlink is and as strong as it has been in the narrative and as much of an upswing as it is on, I still look back at Tezos and see this pattern where we've never really had a major move and we are essentially in an accumulation zone. So, it's a potential here to be kind of more on a ground floor entry. However, Chainlink is potentially more of an interesting project, and as I said earlier in the video, narratives are everything in crypto. So if we look at Link USD pairing, it's a little bit different story here. We, again, have had this parabolic move, but it definitely looks not as appealing as the Bitcoin chart does on Link. So you can see on Link, it looks like we've had this major pullback and we're kind of at some support. On the USD chart, if you're going in with USD, it really looks like we could have some more downside on this thing. So, if we did retrace to the breakout level, like we did earlier with the BTC pairing, that's down to $6. So that could potentially be, maybe a 50% drop back down, over 50%. With the popularity of Chainlink and the power of the trend right now, if we break above 20K on Bitcoin, I really don't see that happening. If Bitcoin gets rejected, we get a big 35% drop back to the 20-week moving average like I talked about in the first video on this channel on the Bitcoin update, then that's definitely possible. So again, it's always important that you don't put in more then you can stand to sit on for a while if the markets do turn against you, and remembering that you can always add along the way as the trend's going up. So I hope this helps everybody. And yeah, actually, before we end, we could look at some price targets on Link as well. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart. So if we continue these parabolic rallies, I'm gonna do a video on how to use Fibonacci extensions, but I haven't done it yet. But when I do, you can go back and look at that, and then you'll understand what's happening here. But Fib extensions are a great way to predict unknown price movements to the upside. And so if we put a Fib chart on there, if we continue to go higher, this trend continues to build on Chainlink, then there's no reason in the next Bitcoin bull market that we couldn't see the next price target at an 8 or 9x from here. So anyway, I hope this helps everybody, and please leave comments in the video, like it, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.